Scorpio 9. Dental work. Dentists were invented because we developed bad teeth. And we developed bad teeth because we began eating the wrong stuff. Sugar doesn't work for us, but we want it. We like sugar, so we eat sugar and we have bad teeth. And we go to the dentist, and the dentist repairs the damage. And that all sounds fine, but really it's not understanding the deeper principle that prevention is better than cure. The existence of dentists diminishes our will not to eat sugar. If we knew that there was no possibility of repair, then we'd take a lot more effort to get things right in the first place. So we've got a complex kind of way of understanding this degree, Scorpio 9. On the one hand, we can see that for every problem there's a solution. If we eat sugar, we get bad teeth, there's a solution, there's a dentist. And we can take that wisdom into our lives and realize that whatever we do to mess up, there's always some way of correcting it. Now, most people would not think that death is an example of one of those things. They would think that that's the final failure, but that's not the spiritual perspective at all. Death is the ultimate evidence of this wisdom, that we don't get it right, and then we die, and then we have another go. That's how it is, so we might as well accept that and not get too dramatic about the need to do it all in this lifetime and get it right in this lifetime and not have to die, but to ascend into some spiritual station that we can't even imagine. No, we get the corrective force of society applied to our indiscretions and errors. And that's what we come to terms with, that there is a corrective force. This not only applies on a practical level, this applies in terms of our society as well. We mess up on our relationships one after another in sequence, don't we? and then there's another one that comes along, for a period of time until you get not to want to continue the same process and you actually get it right or stop doing it. Whether that relationship is a love relationship or a work relationship or a club or a hobby or a friendship, we continually don't get them quite right. There's a lot of trial and error process here. And a corrective process is in place. We can always find a solution for the problem of a broken relationship as well. However, the real mystery of this degree is not so much that there exists the repair facility for our destructive tendencies. It's that we're not really wise if we continue that process of destruction and repair. The wisdom comes from having both the common sense and the will to realize that we mustn't eat sugar. We mustn't mess up our relationships. Teeth are precious. Friendships, people, relationships are precious. We mustn't mess them up. That's common sense. And that means behaving in a sustainable way in all that we do, in what we do with the physical body, in what we do with the emotional body, and actually in what we do with the mental body too. If we spend too much time thinking about problems, then we'll develop a habit pattern of anxiety. The paths of thoughts in our thinking mind, and the paths of feeling in our feeling mind, and the paths of physicality in our physical body. These are all subject to crystallization, to clicking into place in such a way as we've become less adaptable in future. We can sclerose ourselves, body, mind and spirit really, into a way of being that's destructive and damaging, out of which we can find no rescue ourselves. Then the dentist has to fix us. And so we lose freedom and we lose health. And on one level, the common sense attitude is the high reward for being good to your teeth is that you continue to have good teeth. It's pretty straightforward, simple stuff. And yet, the metaphor here is taken to the spiritual level, in that we need to understand that our more subtle spiritual wisdom is of no consequence, really, unless we can bring it to our practical applications in life. The Zen teaching before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. What it means is that we have a practicality to life. We've still got to get on with the chores, whether or not we're enlightened. That's the teaching of Zen. So the teaching here is similar to that, in that even if we reach a high degree of spiritual attainment, still the most important thing in life is whether or not you have a toothache. I know it doesn't sound like that, but that's because you haven't got a toothache at the moment. If you had one, there wouldn't be anything else in your mind. You wouldn't be interested in the name of God or how to pronounce it if you have a toothache. We need to get these things right first. We need to get on top of our lives. Pay the bills, get a good job, make sure your house is in order. I remember in my own personal experience, I was very, very impressed with a particular teacher, a Sufi guy in America. And he was charming, very highly skilled. Everyone liked him. He was very popular. And I had calls to go to his house one day, and it was an absolute tip. It was dirty, it was messy, it was not where I wanted to be at all. And my whole understanding of him shifted 180 degrees in that moment. One way or another, that bloke could not keep his house in order. How then can he take on a role of teaching other people to do that? It's not okay to keep your house in a dirty, messy state. It's going to affect how you think. It's going to affect how you feel. We need to get on top of the ordinary things in life. Keep our physical bodies healthy. Keep our house in order. Keep our relationships on an even keel before we even think about progressing very far on a spiritual level. Now, obviously, they happen at the same time, but don't think of yourself as a highly developed spiritual being if you haven't done the washing up for a few days. It's nonsense. Get your house in order. Now, of course, the other side of this is that we can look for the spiritual wisdom in simple things. There is a spiritual practice involved in doing the washing up. There is a spiritual practice involved in doing the shopping in a certain way, in being courteous in your exchanges with people. Look for that spiritual practice in your ordinary things in life, and you will find yourself living in a more peaceful way, in a more beautiful way, without anxiety or stress or conflict arising very much. It's because you have brought your spiritual wisdom to bear upon the simple, everyday and ordinary things in life that you become a model for people. You become a teacher in a sense. You demonstrate your spirituality works in practice. Because if it doesn't work in practice, it ain't very spiritual, really.